Hello everybody. I'm just outside and I finished my book, so I wanted to give a little review on it. I've been reading this over the past couple weeks. It seemed like a book that I needed to hear when I picked it up. It's called The Christian Man by Patrick Morley, and it's a conversation about 10 issues that men say matter most. So this is the cover. He had a group of 20 or so men, pretty diverse background, and he basically had a little round table and asked all of the men to discuss issues that men face and how to go about them. And so first I'm just going to go through the 10, and then I'll kind of give my little thoughts on each of them. So first is identity, life balance, growth, marriage, children, friendships, work, lust, culture, and sharing your faith. So identity was talking about finding a deep and lasting satisfaction in life that will compel others to seek better for themselves. Finding yourself and the things that God has gifted you to share with the world. Life balance is just keeping everything in moderation and not focusing only on health and sacrificing money or your family or other things, or only focusing on money and not focusing on your family or your health. The next is growth, and it's talking about how being in a small group, serving someone, and a Bible can change and solve 90% of your problems. So I've been reading the Bible for about 6 months, and it can't all be attested to that, but change in my music, changing my feed on social media, choosing the things that I know will benefit me versus the things that I've come to find out are a detriment. Being in a small group is something that I personally needed. My only other real group is arm wrestling, and I was in an isolation period for a little bit, and it was what I needed at the time. But it was nice to connect with some people from church that are young adults and are going through similar thoughts and situations that I am. I think my call to action for the growth chapter would be to serve someone else and to help someone, not for my benefit, but for theirs. The next chapter was marriage, and there was a lot of practical information that I took from this, and I'm excited for the day and the process of me being married. It's something that I feel like I've longed for since I was a kid, and I'm super excited for when that day comes for me, because I know it'll be more than I can imagine. So there was a lot of practical stuff, like I said. Having the same beliefs and values is something that I sacrificed in the past, and I know that's why those relationships did not work out. So standing for my values and my beliefs is something that is important to me more recently than it's ever been. And I want to find someone who's my best friend, not just someone whom I'm attracted to, and we have similar values, but someone who I can actually be a friend with and experience this life together. The next chapter was about children. Obviously, I don't have children yet, but the main thing that stood out was, yes, I love you, and no, you can't have your own way. And I think this is a very crucial part for parenting, because there's so many times where your child wants something, even if it's to have a sleepover with a girl at a younger age. Your friend or your child might want that, and it might seem desirable for the child at the moment, but setting boundaries for them, which is a hard concept for kids to grasp in the moment. But I think when they look back, if they have disciplined parents, they understand why their parents were trying to protect them at that moment. And I think a good thing for parents is to stand their ground for what they believe in and have open dialogue with why they're choosing to set that boundary for their children. I think things like eating dinner together are really special. Praying for them and encouraging them with your words. And this was really cool that I thought. It says, date them when they're teenagers. Take each one out separately and go have a little one-on-one time with them. And I thought that was really encouraging and something that I would like to implement when I have kids. And the next one was about friendships, and this was a men's book, so obviously meeting with other men, they're going to understand your problems at a different level than if it was like, let's say, a mixed group. Not to say that women and men can't understand each other's problems, but it's a different kind of understanding when you've gone through it and you have the same thinking pattern as them. And so just finding a small group where you can call someone at 2 a.m. if you have a problem, and finding friends that actually care about you. Next was work, and it was talking about finding something that is satisfactory to you, that gives you meaning and purpose, and it kind of tied back into the life balance and how there's a lot of men that do kind of the opposite things. They either work a lot and barely see their family, or they see their family a lot and can't provide as well as they want to. And I think thinking about that while I'm single is something that I'm grateful for, that I'm aware of it now versus having to find out later. Next was lust, and this was a chapter that I was actually looking forward to because it's something that I struggle with. And there was a few people that he modeled after, and their different battles with lust, and just that the best thing in the Bible that it says for men struggling with lust is to get married and have regular sex with your wife. And I think that's something that most men would dream for, is to have a wife that they love, that they can both meet each other's needs. And it was a really encouraging chapter for me because it's something that I have been struggling with, and I got a lot of tools in my toolkit now to battle it when those temptations come. The next one was about culture and how God wants us to find an unredeemed corner of culture and claim it for the glory of Christ. And I think there's so many different areas where that is true, whether it's professional athletes coming out after they won a game saying, "All glory be to God," or small different groups where someone can share their faith and it brings others and it can improve their group or individuals specifically. And also about, there's a lot of like culture talk and I'm not very educated on it, but we're all divided in different areas of life, and showing that God created us all in His image is very powerful, and we shouldn't be divided based on how we were raised or our community, and we need to actually listen to other people's sides to find common ground and to understand things that maybe we didn't think about before. And next was about sharing your faith. And it's not about manipulating or tricking people into becoming Christians. It's about sharing how it's changed your life and where they are at on their spiritual journey, and to talk about what you've learned and what has changed in your life. Not everyone is going to be accepting of it, or maybe it's not their time, but maybe it is their time and no one has asked them. There's a lot of ways that we can grow in our experience here on earth, and some people get overlooked and no one asks them questions that can help them on their journey. Sorry, there's a bug on my book. But I think sharing the things that you've learned in the Bible, there's something about it that hits in everyone's heart, whether they still don't believe in God. There's something in their soul that longs for those kinds of conversations and those kinds of characteristics. And I was really encouraged by all of these chapters in this book. And if you are a man struggling with your faith, I would highly recommend this book. It's The Christian Man by Patrick Morley. I love you guys. Have a great day. Spread peace, love, and positivity.